Hi Stampers, it's Elizabeth from StampScrapAndMore.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Canada, and we are going to make tonight a Viewfinder card. I think that might be what it's called. I was cleaning up my craft room last weekend, and I came across a card that I received from Jamila Ibbets as a swap card quite a few years ago. And this is the card that I received, and you'll see it has the spinning technique on the side here that you can change the sentiments, etc. And I have a lot of cards. So I was cleaning up my cards, purging some that had gotten damaged, mailing some out, getting ready for a craft fair, and then discovering cards that were special. And this card is special. So I thought I wanted to recreate it. But the funny thing is that, well, Jamila and I both started our Stampin' Up! Careers at the same time and went on stage for the very first time together, did not know each other, and found each other on a message board. And it was like, we're both in Canada, both in Ontario, looking for a roommate to go to on stage. And we met up and we had coffee and said, why not? So we roomed together and went to on stage together. And we are both still Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, have both been very successful in our businesses. And it is a joy whenever we attend Stampin' Up! Events and we see each other and we can reminisce, and what an awesome adventure this has been, and the great people that have been brought into our lives because of Stampin' Up! So this card, thank you Jamila, is a keeper, and I'm so happy I did keep it. As I mentioned, that this product is retired, but we're going to recreate the card using the Honeybee set. So this is the same card, just changing up the sentiments, changing up the designer series paper, etc. And I think it's awesome how you can take one card and have two totally different looks for it. I think that's awesome. What other hobby can you do that, right? So we are going to make this card today using current products. So let's get over to the desktop, and I am going to give you some measurements because this card is just a little bit different in size. So first off, we are going to be using the Honeybee stamp set, and the sentiments, we're going to be using the beehive, we're going to use the bee, hello, and we're going to be using wishing you sunshine and happiness. We are going to be using the coordinating dies. We're going to use the beehive, the small bee, and the honeycomb. And then the key to this card is to use greetings that are small scale. So I thought, what a better stamp set than Itty Bitty Greetings. So from Itty Bitty Greetings, like I've got ink on my fingers, we're going to use Fabulous at Any Age, Hey Friend, Celebrate, For You, and Happy Birthday. Those are the greetings we're going to use. And we're going to use some black memento, which is why I've got black ink all over me. And we're going to use crushed curry. You're going to need a 2-inch piece of vellum, which I've already punched out. And you're going to need the 1 3/8 scallop punch, or any punch, circle punch that's that size. You can actually even use the circle dies, but for the sake of this video, the punch is easier. And you're also going to need a piece of Whisper White cut out in the largest layering circles, and a piece of photocopy paper or any thin paper using the same circle die. I cut out the honeycomb in the gold glimmer paper. Oh yes, and very important, you're going to need the metallic brads or any brads of your choice, and any small brad. It doesn't matter what color it is, you're not going to see it, but any of the small brads. And I think and Wink of Stella and the dark mango melody. And I'm going to use my Stamparatus to make life easier. Now for cardstock size, you are going to need a piece of black cardstock that is at 11 by 4 inches, not 4 1/4. It's 11 by 4, and it's scored at 5.5. I'm going to explain why it's at 4 inches in a minute. You're going to need a piece of Whisper White, designer series paper, and basic black. Oh, it's here, I promise. And basic black that are all cut at 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. So the reason why the card base is at 11 4 and not 11 4 4/4 is because we need to leave room for this mechanism. This mechanism sticks out from the edge of the card, and you need to make sure that you have enough room to get it into the envelope. So we have it at 4 1/4. So that's why the card base is at 4 inches and not 4 1/4. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's do this first. We are going to mount the designer series paper right on to the black cardstock. And they're cut the same size, and you are going, it's just for stability. The designer series paper is going to get popped up, and the mechanism is going to run behind it. So you just need to make sure that it's nice and stable. So that we are going to put it on a piece of black. Oh crap, Elizabeth, hold on. Oh, I did not mount that very well. I was too far off the edge. Flush. So it's flush, north, south, east, west. There we go. And I got it straight that time. Okay. Now the piece of photocopy paper that you have cut out using the large circle, I'm just going to wipe my fingers here again. You're going to fold it in half that way and then fold it in half that way so you get yourself the center. And then you're going to take the white Whisper White and your paper piercing mat and your paper piercer, and you are going to poke a hole in the center of this circle here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this towards the left-hand side here. And I'm going to slide this under, and I just want to make sure that I'm following along on the 4 1/4 inch side, right, like that, so that I'm not going beyond that. You can go up as high as you want as long as you're not going over the top. But I like to keep it a little bit lower. First card I did it too far up at the top, and I found that there was too much open space at the bottom. Okay, and now I'm eyeballing it, and I'm just going to put an X right there. And I'm going to take my circle punch, and I'm going to about halfway make sure there's the X right there, that I'm in the circle or close enough, and like that. Now I'm going to layer this. Oh, keep doing that wrong. I'm going to put this back here and slide this underneath and make sure there's the 4 1/4 right there. I'm going to bring this up a little bit more like that. And now that looks pretty even to me, north, south, north, and like even this way. And I'm going to pick them up both together, flip them over, and make my mark here in the center. And that is where I'm going to loosely, for the purpose, for right now, put this brad. And maybe it'd be easier if I do it this way. And I'm going to show you why it's loosely. If I was doing this not on video, I would probably stamp each one and then let it dry. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to stamp, rotate it, and keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't smudge, because I'm not going to do it really tight. I'm just going to leave it real loose. I'm going to take it off afterwards. I'm going to stand standing up for this. Okay, so depending on how far this is in, you can either get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentiments around, or 5. So we're going to start with the basic black. And I know it's basic, the memento doesn't dry as quickly as sometimes globs. Maybe it doesn't dry. I tried using another color like the crushed curry, but it just, the basic black looked a lot better. So I'm going to use hello. And I'm going to stamp. I'm standing up for this so that I can see where I'm stamping. There we go. And then I'm going to gently move it under. And happy birthday goes on the outside. And then I'm going to do celebrate. And it doesn't matter what order you do them in. There we go, celebrate. I'm going to gently slide that. I'm actually lifting it up and sliding it under so that it doesn't smear. I'm going to do the bumblebee. And now I'm going to gently move that over. Fabulous at any age. I think this is the right side up. I don't have my labels on the stamps. Now you can see why the key is to use small scale sentiments. And then, hey friend. And then last is for you. Okay. Now I'm going to close up the black and move this all aside. So hopefully I don't have black on me. And now I'm just going to take this off and let this dry. Oh good, nothing smudged. So there is the wheel. That's what you end up with. Okay, I'm going to leave that aside as we go on, and now I'm going to do Stamparatus stuff. Okay. So I've done this technique before. I do this a lot in classes just because it's a lot easier to pass the Stamparatus around than it is. It takes up less space on the table. So I have, this is my template for the beehive. I nested the beehive in there, and I am going to put this down, ink up the beehive, and stamp it. And it came out on there. Here we go. And you know, I'm gonna leave it. Sometimes I stamp twice, but no, I like this. I like how it turned out. Now I'm going to take off the beehive, and we're going to do the little bumblebee. So let me just clean off the beehive and put it aside. And I got to clean off the bumblebee because it's got black ink on it. Okay. And I'm going to take this. I keep these and I put them in with the stamp set. And that way next time I go to do it, eventually they'll have to get replaced. But okay, here's my bumblebee. I can cut this down a little bit. I like the bumblebee because you can, it cuts out on scrap pieces of paper. Okay. And there's the bumblebee stamp. And you're just going to nest it in there. Oops. Bumblebee's a little harder to line him up perfectly, I will admit. But let me see how this works. I need the black ink again. I'm going to do a test and stamp it right inside there before I put the actual stamp on. What do you think? I'm going to actually, so at this point it looks good, but I just want to move it over just a titch. So I'm moving this over just a titch instead of repositioning the stamp. I'm just moving it over a titch. And where's my bumblebee that I already cut out? Right here. And there's the bumblebee. I'm going to drop him in the negative space. I'm inking them up again. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. There we go. Perfect every time. Love that technique. Love that technique. Let me put the Stamparatus on the floor. and get it off my desk. Okay. Now we are going to, I think this might be, while I've got this out, I'm going to color the Bumble Bees. You can see this, right? His stripes. I'm using the dark Mango Melody only because I wanted something that had a dark, crisp color. Wow, this Bumblebee ever turned out really well. I get excited when it's nice and crisp. Okay. Okay, what did I do? There it is. Now I'm going to take the brad, insert it back in this middle there. Oops. This might be a club card coming up for March. What do you think, club ladies? If you're following me, if you're seeing this video, what do you think? Would we not make a nice club card? And I'm just going to wing it in the back like that. And now here we go. And there's the. Oh, see, I did it too much there, but that's okay. Hello. Oh, see, this is what happened. I have too much space here and not enough space further down, but it's okay. It's okay. And now I'm going to mount this on top with dimensionals. And you know me and my dimensionals. I'm going to put one on the four corners, on each corner. And then I'm also going to put one here on this side. And I'm going to put one up and down because I don't want the mechanism to sag. We don't like sagging cards. Okay. I'm participating in something that Stampin' Up! Has done. It's I'm bringing birthdays back. And so I need to make a bunch of birthday cards all year and send to people that are on this specific list. So this might be one of them. Hello for you. Hey friend. Fabulous at any age. Butterfly. Oh, that worked. Celebrate. Hello. That's okay. Now, this tip I have given you before. This is my silicone mat. And I'm just going to take some Tombow glue and, oh, it's not this. And I've already die cut out this gold glimmer paper. I would have used foil paper, but I didn't have any. So glimmer it is. And I am just taking an old sponge and putting adhesive onto the back of the honeycomb so that we don't have adhesive everywhere. Oh. And the silicone mat cleans off. And then I'm going to adhere this directly onto the vellum. Now, the first card I did, I didn't use vellum, and the honeycomb just got lost. It was lost, so really needed the vellum behind it. Okay, so we've got this brad here, and so this is going to get up beside the brad, but then the beehive is going to just cover the top like that. So this is going to get flushed up, and then this is going to put dimensionals on the bottom corners, and then one in the middle, and then maybe one up here, but not in this area. So let me just put some Tombow glue, or your glue of choice, doesn't matter. And that's just going to get stuck up beside the brad, like that. Let's see if this is going to be like that. So dimensionals I'm going to put on four corners. And I don't want to put up here, so I want a dimensional here and maybe a little one up here. And we're almost done. Like that. Okay. And the Tombow glue will dry, and it'll dry clear so you won't see that. Okay, so what are we doing? What are we doing, Elizabeth? I need a small piece, and I need the happy birthday. And this I'm going to fussy cut, kind of. because I want it thinner. I don't want it thick. I want it thinner. And I'm going to flag each end. So like there, and like there, and then I'm going to trim down the top like that. And I can trim a little bit more off here. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to show you how I flag when I do it manually. I'm freehand, I should say. I'm going to go up the middle, and then I'm going to go left, and I'm going to go right, and meet that center cut. And again, I'm going to go middle, I'm going to go left, and I'm going to go right. Oops. Sometimes you have to cut a little bit more off. Okay, and I need a little piece of dimensional. I think some people don't realize the amount of work that goes into one card. The videos are a good idea to share with you. That when you get a card from someone and it's handmade, it was made with love, because there is a lot of work that goes into a handmade card. I sent a card to a friend. Actually, it was a bee card, and it was just said, thinking of you. And she called me at work the other day, and she was so excited. And she's not a keeper of cards. And she went, this is going, I'm keeping this card. It means so much to me, and it made my day. And then the last thing, we're going to put the bee up. And just going to put him on the angle like that. And then last, oh no, not last, we have to do the inside. I'm going to take the wink of Stella. I'm going to wink up his, oh, I like that term, wink up. Wink up his wings and the black stripe. And I also have to do the wink on him here. I'm going to wink him up. I don't know if that's a term. Wink it up. I like it. Okay, wink it up like that. And then last but not least, we are going to take for the inside. And we're going to take the wishing you sunshine and happiness, and I have to stand up for this one. And we're going to ink it up in black. I actually probably should have done this first so that I could make sure it's really dry before I adhere it in the center. Wishing you sunshine and happiness. There we go. And I'm not going to do it, but you get the gist. It is going to go inside like that. And I had another card here that was all done, and that's what it looks like. Wishing you sunshine and happiness. And isn't that neat? So that is called a Viewfinder card. Viewfinder card. I've made a few of these today. Here's another one. Hello, celebrate, fabulous at any age, Bumble Bee for you. Hey friend, hello, happy birthday. Well, that's it for me and my Viewfinder card. I hope you are inspired. And if you have any questions, leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Have a great evening and a weekend, and we will talk to you again soon.